So hi everyone, nice to have you here all. My name is Idan. I'm the founder and CEO at myQuest. And basically, for those of you who are not familiar with myQuest is an LMS and a training platform that really our focus is on how to create high engagement when it comes to learning. We created a very unique learning format which focus on action-based learning and providing learners with feedback and also making sure that really we close the loop and help people develop new skills. As part of what we do every month, sometimes twice a month, we host a webinar with a leading instructional designer that we are working with to really, contribute to the community. Our goal as a company is to really make sure, that all of us are building training for people and trying to help people to evolve, to really help everyone to create better training. And today I'm honored to have in this webinar Jazz. Jazz is one of the leading instructional designer here in Israel. And he has been doing tremendous work on taking, really realizing the potential of AI and how you can utilize it to build effective training. And he really took it to the next level. So Jazz kindly agreed to join us and show us some of the best practices on how to use AI to build training. Another bonus that we'll have here on this webinar, a few things towards the end. We'll also show you guys how we actually use AI in myQuest to create more engagement and provide automatic feedback to learners. So you can use AI not just to build training, but you can actually use AI to engage learners and make sure that the learning experience is much more personal. So we'll touch upon this towards the end. And also, I know that Jazz created like a very unique ebook around building training with AI. So for those of you who will stay towards the end, we'll also give it to you as a giveaway. But Jazz, maybe you want also to introduce yourself as we get started?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, thank you very much for having me today. My name is Jez. I have a very interesting name. So I will start with sharing my presentation, if it's okay. Yeah. Okay. So today we will going to talk about ChatGPT for instructional designers, methods and tools that we developed lately here with my colleagues. I'm really glad to see today more than 300 participants all over the world. Fantastic. Okay. So a little bit about myself. Actually, I've been dealing with learning and development for more than 20 years. I'm consulting different companies on multiple subjects about digital transformation, developing organizational learning strategies, helping with the learning management system selection and replacement, with online content creation, and of course AI implementation within the organization, including training departments. And so here you can see some examples of my clients, but it's just a little example. So why GPT for instructional design in general? I think in today's digital age, learners crave interactive and professional training materials. There are no two instructional design scenarios alike, so navigating through systematic research process that leads to the most suitable solutions is imperative, to my opinion. So ChatGPT, with its natural language processing capabilities, offers a unique opportunity to tailor the exact solution to training challenges. So now we understand that instructional design is a multidisciplinary profession, one that constantly evolves to meet the unique demands of diverse organization, content types, and learning environments. So in recognizing the complexity in our profession, me and my two colleagues decided to create step-by-step guide and explain how to unlock the potential of ChatGPT in solving training challenges. So please meet my two colleagues, Motel Nikaveni and Isaguri. They are really experts in AI field. We worked hard to collect the prompts and principles that every instructional designer must use in the era of generative AI. And we worked on this step-by-step guide for about 3 months, and the document includes a collection of about 50 prompts that we designed, tested, and improved especially for you. So we even added examples of how we use this guide so that it will be very practical, because it's very important to see how it works in real life. And of course, you will get this guide at the end of this meeting, absolutely for free, just like our contribution to community. So who could benefit from this guide? First of all, of course, we believe that this guide is especially beneficial for inexperienced designers by helping them in asking the right questions and guiding them through the challenges of research-based design. And of course, seasoned professionals can find value in this guide because of its structured approach. It provides a comprehensive framework for organizing content and in an efficient and effective way. So, because we are a very methodological person, we also were looking for some kind of framework for this guide. So it's structured around the very popular EDDI methodology that contains of 5 steps: analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. So we will walk you through each phase, demonstrating how to seamlessly incorporate ChatGPT at every step to achieve maximum impact. So each phase includes multiple aspects, and we will provide you all needed prompts to address each of them. So one of the key to success when working with ChatGPT, of course, it's crafting effective prompts. We'll provide you with a lot of examples tailored to various learning use cases. Whether you are designing a course on coding, language learning, or customer service training, any soft skills, our guide has you covered definitely. So let's start with, first of all, 10 tips that we decided to give you because we think it's very important to understand how to communicate with ChatGPT in an effective way and how to work effectively with our guide. So the first tip is, that Chat uses natural language processing to create human-like conversational dialogue. So don't talk too formally to the chat, but in a more human way, like we, used to talk to our colleagues in daily way. Okay, this is our suggestion. And the second tip is there's no such a thing as one prompt solution. When it comes to accurate results, you should have an iterative conversation that unfolds between you and chat. So practically after the first iteration, challenge its answers, just like we do in real life when we have regular conversation with human beings. You will see a few useful examples today and in this guide after the meeting, how to do it effectively. Provide context, it's very important. Okay, as you progress with the prompts, ask and answer questions and provide unique information. In this way, you will have more context for the solution. The more content we provide to the chat, the better it is and can give more accurate solution, even by replacing the same request in different words more than once. I do it a lot and it's very helpful. Another tip, there's something you need to know about our guide. Each time you see the square buckets in prompts, it's a generic field to which we attach a variable value. It means that below the prompt, you can simply fill your content for each variable and followed by an equal sign. Okay, for instance, like I put here on the slide, for example, we see here 2 variables and below we can simply fill in our content. Okay, in this way you will be it's very comfortable to work in this way. You simply copy and paste the prompts from the guide and put your unique information, your unique parameters, so that you will get the right results. When stop the interaction, it's a very good point. Note that there's a point where chat no longer returns a valuable answer. When it starts to repeat itself, we recommend that you be aware of its behavior and stop the interaction because it looks like a loop with the same answers. Proprietary knowledge, if your content is proprietary knowledge, it might be a challenge for chat to analyze it because of its lack of accumulated knowledge. The solution it will provide will not necessarily be effective. So extracting information from its data set will be difficult. Even if we provide our proprietary context, it's still limited to how much data it can retrieve. So in this situation, you will use the prompts to understand how to gather the insights, but not to create the content. It's a little bit different. The next tip, since the instructional design process is iterative, it's necessary from time to time to go back to the prompts that we have already asked for, reconsider them. Okay, if you receive an answer which changes your decision-making process during the chat, you should go back and overview the previous prompts, and you should copy the initial prompts and ask them again with the new information received. This is something that we really recommend to do. Okay, all the time reconsider the previous prompts and ask them again with the new information that we received. And the another tip to improve chat requests, it would be more effective to teach it or guide it on where to collect the information from. Okay, if information is on the internet, you can copy a section from the relevant web page. To better use the chat tokens, you could even share the chat web page links or upload a file. For example, if you have a PDF or Word file with unique information, you can simply upload it to the chat. And in this way, it will be very effective because you can upload a lot of information in one time. Another tip, sometimes you might need from chat to rephrase the information in an instructional tone of voice. Most of the time, chat's default language is free or marketing style. So if needed, it's worth asking to switch it into more official or targeted language. Okay, so for example, you can simply ask the chat to rephrase the same information using the following prompt that you see on the screen. Rephrase it in instructional tone of voice, and you will have the same information in more official way. And the last one, do not copy and paste. Remember, there's no such a thing as a magic solution. The instructional designer is fully responsible for the final solution. It's always required to test it and make sure that we manage to give all needed data and context to chat. So do not use results without checking them again and again. Do not copy and paste. It's very important. So I think right now, because we don't have enough time, we will jump into the examples. Okay. So this is actually our step-by-step guide. You see that we created it on the Wix platform with my colleagues. Once you click on checkout now, you actually go into the guide itself. We created it in simply PDF format, but it's still very, very comfortable. I will go quickly through the structure of this guide so that you'll understand how it's built. Of course, table of content. After that, we have a little bit abstract about how to work with the guide. Just like we mentioned, you will receive it right after the meeting with all of the tips that I just covered. And now you see, we technically divided the document into the 5 stages. Each stage, it's a phase of adding modules. So the first phase is analyze. So here you can see a lot of prompts that you can simply copy paste in your chat in different scenarios and use cases. For example, if you want to define the target audience, you simply take this prompt. Okay, as you can see, you are an instructional designer, an expert in organizational learning. In general, we suggest to start with definition, the role of ChatGPT in this specific session. It's very important. You are required to write a learning unit. You are required to define target audience. Ask me all necessary questions in order to understand the target audience. Number the question. I will give you my answers and then summarize all the answers to a paragraph that defines the target audience attributes. Okay, it's interesting. On the one hand, of course, I have already some attributes of my target audience, but sometimes maybe we miss some of the questions, especially if we start our role in a new organization and we struggle in working with subject matter experts. So in this case, when you provide relevant context, you can receive more information, what questions you should ask in order to understand better your target audience. So you see different scenarios, for example, identifying the instructional gap, everything that is relevant to analysis phase. And let's skip it because there are a lot of information about analysis phase. You see different situations. Capture the constraints that may affect the learning process. Identify the subject matter. You see, here's an example of working with parameters. Okay, it's very simple. You only copy the prompt and put it in your chat and simply fill in the relevant content.
Yes, can you show us another example of the analysis phase? Like we saw the example of the target audience, but let's look at another example I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, for example, mapping and capturing content. Okay, so you're an instructional designer. The same. This is this you're required to write a learning unit. This is the subject matter. You need to put here the relevant parameters in order to. And then here you define the behavioral change required. Okay, so it's like you put here, the changes, the expected changes in behavior of your target audience. Could you please give me a list of the context, concepts, terminology, knowledge items, and conditions that exist in the subject matter? So it's very, 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 detailed because we tried to address almost each need in each phase. Okay, so that's why the design of this document took a lot of time. And what was also very important for us is to test it. So each prompt that you see here, we tested by ourselves and wanted to make sure that everything works. And of course, just like I mentioned before, there is no such a thing like one prompt. You always start your session with this prompt, and then you simply see the conversation and you just correct it and ask chat to do some kind of adaptations. Okay, another example of working with parameters, content, and learning aids development, for example. And I think you understood the concept, okay, of this the same development phase, content analysis, detailed outline. Okay, you will see right now more interesting examples, etc., etc., etc. And at the end of the document, we put some use cases that we tested, best practices, like we call them. For example, you see best practice number 1, analysis, and we put here some extracts because we cannot put here the whole conversation because it's very long. In this case, this document will be like, I don't know, 200 pages. But we took extracted some interesting parts from the conversation in each part of this phase in order to see how it works. Okay. So now what I wanted to show you, how much time do I have? Like 20 minutes? That's fine. Some practical examples. Okay, for example, I go right now to the very simple but interesting example. I took the huge HP printer installation guide in PDF, just downloaded it from the internet. It's like, I don't know, 100 pages. Instead of copy paste all of this information, I simply uploaded the PDF file here to the ChatGPT, and I copy and pasted here one of the prompts. Okay, you're instructional designer. You are required to write a learning unit about installation of HP printer. I will provide a file with installation instruction, and you will create a course structure for this topic. Okay, it's very simple prompt for the chat. Okay, it created pretty simple outline, the target audience. Okay, by the way, it defined the target audience and the course duration based on this PDF file that I provided. I didn't know how much time it should take. The chat suggested 2 hours. The course objectives. Okay, here you see the course structure by modules. okay, how to teach it correctly. Suggestion about the assessment phase, multiple choice quiz, and practical demonstration of printer setup, which, by the way, it makes sense. Course material, delivery method, okay, you see the instructor-led training, hands-on practice session, and online learning modules after the training. Some additional notes. And right now I'm writing, okay, as for multiple choice quiz, create 5-question quiz of 4 multiple choice question and 1 drag and drop. So it creates the test, okay, the exam with the questions, and each time it marked the right answer, which is, by the way, I tested it. It's pretty correct questions and answers, and even drag and drop, you see. After that, I'm asking to analyze the content and suggest 10 most common questions that can be raised by end users during the installation. Create a document in the format of FAQs. And we receive here some kind of document, some kind of job aid that we can provide to the learners right after the training. And by the way, questions here also make sense. How do I install the tone of orange into the printer? Stuff like that. Okay, now I'm writing good job, buddy. Thank you. Glad to assist you. Now create a document of 10 most common mistakes during the installation. Okay, I'm challenging the chat a little bit because I want to see 10 most common mistakes. And we see mistakes and training solution for each type of mistake. For example, incorrect paper loading, one of the most common mistakes in this training, etc. Implementation, okay, how to teach it correctly, how to train it correctly. Okay, this part I really liked. Okay, you mentioned that the training is intended for 2 hours. Suggest another training structure if we have only 30 minutes. Prioritize topics that should be learned and ignore topics that are less important for this training. So I put some limitations, some constraints, and it suggested another outline of the training. We see less target audience. We see less training objectives, of course, because we have less time. The structure of the course divided into the minutes so that we will have 30 minutes for this training. Key features that we need to take into consideration, for example, about visual aids, because we don't have enough time, so we need to put more attention what happens after the training, like interactive Q&As and etc. And create detailed lesson plan for the chapter connecting the printer. So I took one example, one chapter, and asked to create a detailed lesson plan. It created it, okay, including the duration time, objective for this specific part, all needed materials, the lesson outline divided into the minutes, okay, and then I really like it. Now convert the outline to detailed course. Write exactly what the trainer should say in each of these 5 bullets. Okay, and I know this is the most boring part in instructional design. Then sometimes we need to write, things by ourselves, what trainer should say at each part of the training. For example, if it's ILT. And here it is, exactly. Trainer script. Welcome to the section on connecting your HP laser printer. Today we will focus on using the parallel connection. Blah, blah, blah. So this is a very simple example when you can take something very, very, very preliminary, like a PDF file, and converted it into the detailed outline and plan and training.
Jazz, quick question. All the prompts that you use, these are the prompts from the guide that you just showed us?
Some of them, okay, and of course, why I started with a lot of tips. I want to show the logic of the conversation. Okay, it's not like we can cover everything. Okay, because we have different limitations, different constraints, different use cases, different subject matters. So that's why we always provide the initial prompt, okay, something that you should start with, okay, and then we provide additional tips how to continue the conversation. So that's why we put at the end of the document the best practices, okay, how to continue the conversation after you started it. Technically, you can take any prompt from this document and to create conversation, very branching conversation about different scenarios. Okay, just like in this case, because in the beginning, the chat said that we need 2 hours, and then I put a limitation of 30 minutes. This is something that I'm not sure that it's covered in the guide, but no, it provides the logic of leading the conversation with the chat. So I believe it provides the answer, right?
Yeah, it's very interesting the way that you define ChatGPT, your instructional designer, like you really give it like the context. We actually do something very similar in myQuest. We have a one-on-one coaching module inside of the LMS. So
Mm-hmm.
many companies or trainers or or using our LMS, they can provide one-on-one coaching which is asynchronous as part of the training. So
Yeah.
we also embedded ChatGPT as part of the platform where we also tell ChatGPT, like behind the scene, like you're right now a coach, this is the program, we give ChatGPT all the information about the program, and then when a coach or a mentor needs to provide feedback to one of the learners, they can just click on a button, and behind the scene, we gave ChatGPT all of this information, so ChatGPT can automatically produce a response or a feedback to the learner. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are many different use cases that are very interesting that you can use this technology.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you. And if we have additional 10 minutes, I will give you another examples. For example, how to define a learning method for one of the challenges. For example, here you can see an example of development of the sales course, the course for the sales reps. I'm starting again with my request to send me questions in order to identify the audience and the training. Okay, the chat does it. Then I provide all needed information. You see, this is the question. This is the answer. You see how many information in the context I'm providing, because it's very important for me when I'm creating the outline and when I want to define the learning method, because it's very important. And the information about the sales reps, general age range, new employees, less than 1 month in the company, what its preferred or available time frame for learners. So I put 2 weeks. Do you have any specific constraints or limitations on the resources? And I said, yes, my budget is only $30,000. The audiences are in 5 different geographical areas. Okay, whatever. And here you can see that I also, okay, here's some kind of summary that ChatGPT has provided based on the information that I sent to it. And then I'm asking it a question. Are you sure that my budget of 30K is sufficient for blended learning approach? Because the chat suggested the blended method, okay, for learning, but it looks like it's a little bit unreal. Okay, I think it's not enough money. So that's why I'm asking this question. And the chat answer, you are correct, considering the budget of 30,000 and the requirement to deliver the training to sales reps in 5 different geographical areas, a full-scale blended learning approach might exceed the available resources. Blended learning can evolve a mix of online and in-person components, which can sometimes be costly, especially when considering travel expenses and logistics for in-person training session. And now, okay, we see the adaptation for this training program that includes other learning methods like virtual instructor-led training, like localized training, like peer learning and mentorship, okay, which is more cost-effective when you have not enough budget, and of course, open educational resources. Okay, this is another example how you can lead the conversation with the chat if you have some kind of limitations. And maybe the last example that I will show you. Okay, maybe measurable goals. I really like it because I don't know how you guys, but I'm always struggling when I need to set something measurable, because instructional designers, they're usually very soft professionals. So here you will see again the chat with definition of target audience, and then based on the information that I provided to the chat about my target audience, I also provided very technical information about the product that my sales reps need to offer to my clients. You see, very technical information, some kind of precision rate, okay, and I'm asking to set measurable goals, okay, but what we can achieve by the end of the learning. Okay, here's an example of measurable goals in cell field to increase success rate in 20%. Sometimes it's very important to provide examples of what exactly you expect to receive from the chat. Okay, it makes it more effective. And take a look at this fantastic results. Okay, we see that chat divided this training into specific KPIs, okay, like improve sales techniques, enhance customer satisfaction, increase sales volume, expand market research, okay, and everything is very measurable, okay. For example, you see here, the goal could be to enter at last 3 new countries within 6 months of the training. So technically, if it's not sufficient, I can ask him or her, I don't know who it is, ChatGPT, to provide me another ideas, okay, for additional KPIs, because I think that they're not accurate enough, or I think that they are not realistic. But I think it makes my work as instructional design, it's much easier, because the same task can take dozens of hours if you create a difficult training program, and absolutely it helps a lot and provide you additional vectors of thinking what you can do. So, and
Jazz, do you
yeah,
have an example? Did you use it for one of your engagement with one? I know that you're helping lots of companies to build training. So can you maybe share with us like an example of like a recent engagement you had with a customer that you used this, and like what how it saved you time, or what kind of results you got without it that you wouldn't be able to get without it?
I can show you what we did with one of my colleagues in SolarEdge. Okay, this is one of my clients as well. And we created there, I will show you the program for, wait a second. Yeah, here. The program, the training outline for sales specialists in solar company, okay, which is very unique field. You know, this is something that usually people are not familiar with. So we see that the chat provides the detailed program, okay, about the program that should be learned for the sales reps, including each part. Then what we did, okay, I'm reading your answer carefully. I see that you did good work in high level analysis and the course outline, but I would like to challenge you more. Okay, the chat said, of course. Let's take module 9, okay, which is one of the 12 modules that it has just created, and focus on the role plays. Please provide me 5 sections relevant to the info above. Per each, I would like to have the 3 top mistakes that new sales reps usually make. And what we see right now, the chat took module 9, practical workshop, role-playing sales consultations, and technically we see common mistakes, okay, that usually sales reps at this specific field do. For example, like jumping straight into the sales talk, or not setting a clear agenda, or overwhelming with technical jargon. Okay, this is something that I'm very familiar with, because I also do consulting for sales companies. Discussing financing and ROI, not being transparent about costs. So technically you can take this information, okay, and convert it to detailed training with more specific topics. Here you can see another request. Let's take it deeper. Scenario number 3. It means that I took only one use case from these mistakes that we received right now. Scenario number 3, handling customer objection. Please provide step-by-step solution on how to avoid of this mistake and how to sort it out in case the salesperson falls into this trap and needs guidance. Okay, and look at this, it's fantastic work. Okay, we see these mistakes like getting defensive, how to avoid it, with clear steps like self-awareness, active listening, empathy, and then how to rectify it. Okay, by saying acknowledging, apologizing, and refocus. So you receive here very detailed soft skill training plan about such important topic like handling objections, because I think this is the most challenging part in each sales training. So, and here you see additional examples. And here we challenge it a little bit deeper. Okay, let's take deeper the handling objection part. Okay, and right now we see detailed answers regarding this specific small part in handling objection section. Okay, so in this way you technically create very detailed training outline that you can simply copy paste it and put it in your presentation, maybe fine tune it with the subject matter expert, and technically that's it, you have a training. So this is something that we used, and you know, of course you have some time, you know, fine-tuning work, but it's definitely it takes less time, okay, like in 70% than in comparison that what we spent before.
That's really impressive to save 70% of the development time. You know, Jez,
Absolutely.
I didn't speak with you about it before, but you know, one of the things that maybe we can do, if you'll be open to it, maybe we can even build a course, like a practical course, like in myQuest, based on, you know, the guide that you created, really to help people implement this. So I don't know if we can discuss about it later, but I think that this can be relevant to many people, you know, how to take these prompts, how to take these best practices and really like have step-by-step guide, you know, that can really walk you through the process of, you know, building your training program, right?
Absolutely. And we should use ChatGPT in order to create this course.
Absolutely. Would it be interesting for you guys, you know, to have such you know, a practical, like obviously we'll send you the PDF and then the ebook that the Jazz created, but you know, I'll show you the myQuest platform in a second, but really to have like one step at a time, you know, really take you, okay, you start building your program, what you need to do first, what you need to do second, like really step by step that, you know, really take you through the entire process and hopefully save you like 70%, you know, of the time which takes you to build your training. So I'll speak with Jazz about it after the meeting, but I think it can be very relevant. What I want to show you right now, Jess, thank you first of all so much for sharing this with us. I think it was fascinating, and we'll have a time for Q&A in a bit. I want to show you before we go into the Q&A. I want to show you another way that we use AI with myQuest because I want to open your mind to the different possibilities. So Jez were speaking about, you know, using ChatGPT and AI to build content and design the content, but you can also use it to engage learner as part of the learning process. Because eventually, if ChatGPT can become an instructional designer, it can also become a coach, right? Or a mentor to the learner. So what I want to show you real quick, I want to show you an example of a training on our LMS. And then I want to show you how we use ChatGPT to provide better feedback to the learner. So let me share my screen. We'll do it for like 5 minutes and then we'll have time for Q&A. And I know that many of you have lots of questions, so I want to make sure we can address everything. So let me share my screen. Okay. So can you see my screen? Okay,
Yes.
so what you're seeing here, this is how a training is built and designed in our LMS. As you see, it's a little bit different than traditional LMS, and actually many companies are using our authoring tool and put it in their LMS because they like to have this unique learning format. The way we go about training, we want to make sure it's like, first of all, it's action-based learning, and we want to make sure that people can get feedback and reinforcement as part of the learning. So this is an
Idan, can you
example.
please zoom in a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Is it better now?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Billy. So this is an example of a leadership training. So each training is built from levels and missions, just like a game. So I'm starting at level 1. And here I have different missions or activities I need to do. So for example, on each mission, you can add like videos, you can add a description about what the learner needs to do. We always want to give the learner an activity to take. And you can also add some tips or attachments. But when the learner is actually acknowledging that he or she is doing the activity, now this is Sam. Sam is actually my coach or my mentor in this training program. And now I can actually reflect on my recent activity, because reflection can really help with knowledge retention. And it can also really help with open the ability to get feedback. And feedback is very important to really create a new skill. So now in this leadership training, Sam is asking me like, what is my why I want to take this training? And I can share it either with my mentor or I can share it with a community. So if I'll share it with mentor, it will go to the one-on-one coaching tab, where I can have someone who is accountable for me. But if I'll share it with the community here, I can see all the people in my cohort taking the same training with me, and people can really support and help each other throughout the training. So as you can see, this learning format is a little bit different than what you used to know. Now, I want to show you how we are using ChatGPT to really allow one mentor or expert to support hundreds of people at the same time. So for example, let me go to the second mission. And here in the second mission, for example, I have like a PowerPoint that I need to read and understand. And then I have some question about it. For example, this is a leadership training again. So maybe the first question would be, what type of leadership is my personal favorite? And the second question would be, what type of leadership I have more resistance to? So again, I can give my answers. And once I answer these questions, it will be shared with my coach. But what I want to do right now, I want to go to the one-on-one coaching panel, and I want to show you how we actually use ChatGPT to support learners in a more scalable way. So what you're seeing right now, this is the coaching panel. So this is what Sam as a coach can see. And for example, here you can see, I can see all of my learners, and I can see that I just got a message from Paige answering this exact question. So for example, she says that tribal leadership is definitely my favorite because it involves the leader not being above anyone else. And she has more resistance to analytical-based leadership that only looks at performance and numbers. Now, before this era of ChatGPT, when the mentor or the expert, when he or she would provide support for the platform, they would, start writing the answer and just click reply here on the chat. But what we have done in myQuest, we actually automatically allow ChatGPT learn all the content of that specific course. And you can also add extra content. Maybe you wrote an ebook, or maybe, like in Jaz's example, you can give him all the documentation about a specific method or a product. And now me as a coach or as a mentor, I can just click on this button, and then the AI will produce the response for the coach. For example, this is great to hear that tribal leadership is your favorite page. Your reasoning behind valuing the leadership style that sees the leader as part of the team is insightful. It shows that you appreciate the importance of collaboration and inclusivity in leadership. It's also interesting to hear that you have some resistance toward analytical-based leadership that solely focus on numbers and performance. This indicates that you value a more holistic approach to leadership than considers values aspect beyond just quantitative metrics. Keep exploring different leadership styles and approaches to enhance your leadership skills further. So right now, using this technology, one person can support hundreds of people in the organization just by using the help of the ChatGPT technology to really answer people and provide them with insightful feedback. Now, if this feedback is not good enough, I can also send back a response to the ChatGPT here and also modify this feedback based on what I need.
And Idan, if I may add, the ability to add a tone of voice
Yes.
based on your personal style. So if you are, if your personal mentoring or training style, is more straightforward, then you can set that up in our platform to receive answers that are more like you. So
yeah, so really, like, if I go back to the training now, once I'll answer the learner, he'll get it here on the one-on-one coaching, and using this technology of ChatGPT now really unlocks the opportunity for learners not just to take action or do questionnaire or quizzes, but actually really get feedback for every action that they're doing. And one of the things that we're about to add later this year, so right now we're using ChatGPT in a way as a tool to help a human coach or a human expert when he or she provide support throughout the training. But one of the things that we are working on right now is actually having ChatGPT to become the learner personal assistant. So for example, I might do this mission and answer these questions, and then I'll get a response automatically from ChatGPT with some feedback on it. Or maybe I can go to the one-on-one coaching, or we won't call it one-on-one coaching, we'll call it like your personal assistant, and I can start ask questions about this specific training program or about the content of the training program. And then ChatGPT will automatically will provide me the relevant information about this program. So really, if we're looking at the potential of this technology is a lot about building the content, but also you can think on how you can utilize this also during the training itself to provide more tailored feedback to the learners. Obviously, you can do this through our platform, but we have seen some instructional designers who are not working with our platform do some stuff manually. They can, if they provide some coaching or help to people, you can open ChatGPT and again tell ChatGPT the story. I'm a coach, this is the training, this is the program, here is all the context of the program, this is what the learner wrote me, how would you respond? So this is another interesting use case that you can use in order to support learner in the training. So we have 10 more minutes. I want to open it to questions, whether you have questions to Jazz about building content, if you have questions to me about the myQuest platform and how you can utilize AI as part of it. Yeah, so feel free to write your question here on the chat, and Billy can read those.
Yeah, and let's go back to the first questions that people asked from the beginning of the webinar, so we don't miss anything. Marco asked if it requires the paid version of ChatGPT. So I think, Jazz, you use ChatGPT 4. That's the paid version, right?
Yes, but the main difference between ChatGPT 3.5 and 4 is that you can upload additional material like files, audio files, even video files. Okay, this is the main difference. But technically, if you only using the textual module, okay, the language module, it will be enough. 3.5 will be enough.
Great, thank you, Jez. And then Robin and also I think Sean asked, what happens with the info that is uploaded? Is it confidential? What happens with, like, let's say I upload, resources, PDFs? What happens with those?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not confidential, okay, because it's in a cloud and we don't really understand what's going on after we upload the content. But there is a enterprise version of ChatGPT of OpenAI, okay, that you can purchase and install it on your server. Okay, and in this way you can protect your data. Okay, for example, 2 weeks ago I was at my colleague at AT&T. Okay, he invited me to show how it works at his company. It's pretty impressive, and they upload very confidential content.
Okay, perfect. There was also another question, is learning unit recognized as a topic, lesson, or module by ChatGPT? I think some people replied to that it depends on what you define to ChatGPT. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you would define it before you continue with the rest of the prompts.
In general, the more examples and definition and context you put in your prompts, okay, the more accurate results you will receive. Yeah.
Yeah, great. And languages that it's available in. So I guess that's a lot, but
yeah, okay. It's it depends. Okay, of course, English it's perfect. Okay, but in other languages, even Hebrew, it's supported in ChatGPT. But sometimes there are little inaccuracies in Hebrew that we can see. But in general, it works. And I also saw a question in chat here in this session. Are these prompts work in another model, language models? And the answer is yes. Okay, because technically all language models work in the same way.
Okay, great. And will, like what you showed with the PDF, will it work if they upload a video? Does that work?
You can upload video, okay, in ChatGPT 4, but only for some analytics, like for example, metadata of video, the length of the video, I don't know, how many frames in the video, but technically you cannot really process it in some way. It's not like you can edit it in ChatGPT. It's not there yet, but I think one day it will be there. Absolutely.
Thanks. What happens, or sorry, why do you start some of your prompts with ignore all previous instructions?
If you start, okay, the new session, okay, from scratch, okay, and you don't have any previous information, okay, you can just skip it. But sometimes people forget to open a new session, okay, and before that, let's say they did another conversation. So that's why it's very important to explain to chat that we want to ignore everything that was before and to continue conversation.
Okay. And is IPR and copyright an issue?
And no.
Okay.
It, we just created it only for, for the community. Okay. I think we did put something, okay, that we cannot sell it to additional, to the third party. Okay. Only for your professional usage. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know Mary's question on, is it section 508 compliant? I don't know I think it was about myQuest. So I assume that's a question for you, Idan, if you're familiar with that.
Let me check.
Okay.
I'll check it and I'll be back to you in a
Yeah.
few.
So we'll get back to you, Mary, with that. So Orit wanted to, like, she asked if in aspects of security issues, I think that was like a follow-up question to what we previously discussed, aspects of security issues.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what exactly the question is.
With security, so when you're using ChatGPT, like ChatGPT can use the data that you, like if you're using it just, on the browser and you just have like a premium subscription, so they can use the data that you feed into it. What we did in myQuest, we actually open to each one of our customers like a business account, and all the data that we feed into ChatGPT, it's like it's in a separate environment. So according to OpenAI, it's like protected and it's not really being used for training. So this is what we are using for feeding the data for the coaching. But I think when you're building and designing training, it might use it. I saw Nadav's question about Copilot. So I think with Copilot, it might be more protected. It's better to check it out. I know that putting lots of emphasis on security and privacy, but the best thing to do is just to go and read the terms of service of each solution that you're using and try to understand,
Yeah, I'm using Copilot as part of our organization on MS Suite. So maybe, I guess it's got something with IT credentials and stuff. So I check it with them. But just in terms of version, is it equivalent to the same capabilities, version 4, etc.?
I think it is. I'm not sure. I know it's based on OpenAI technology. Whether they brought ChatGPT 4 or another version, I'm not sure which version they're using, but I know that with Copilot, that Microsoft promised that they won't share any information from the organization outside, so it should be fine with Copilot.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Sure.
Okay, and I just checked about the copyright thing. Yes, we wrote here in the document that you may not reproduce or communicate any of this content of this document without permission of copyright owner. So it's technically the same, that you can use it but not sell it. Yeah.
Right, and so Christiana asked if she can create videos in ChatGPT. As far as I know, it's not possible, right?
No.
I know there are other tools today for video
Yeah.
creation. Like this is coming up very soon. Like
Yeah.
I saw that what
Or
was
AI, Marco said.
Nora, yeah, like very soon you'll be able to produce videos with AI. Like I think a year from now, all the video production industry really gonna change. So
But it's still
And
very, very complicated. In order to, I don't know, to produce a 1 minute video with good quality and script, sometimes you need to use, I don't know, up to 10 different AI tools to create this video result. It's very difficult. It's very complicated to create video.
yeah. And is HeyGen the same as ChatGPT? Are you familiar with that? HeyGen.
HeyGen, it's a little bit different tool. Okay, you upload the content of the text. It's text to video. Okay, but technically you have only avatars. So you can choose existing avatar or you can create the avatar of yourself. You need to upload a lot of your pictures and to create like a duplicate of you. Okay, and upload the text, and you will have some kind of talking head that will look really realistic. Okay, because I created one course with HeyGen. It looks fantastic. The results were fantastic. And it's also not expensive.
Great. I think we have time for probably 2 more questions.
Billy, before the
So-
questions, maybe let's
Yeah.
share the information with everyone because I know some people.
Right, that's right. So I'm going to share in the chat links to the PDF, to the step-by-step guide by Jez. I'm going to share links to a book called Either with Jez to learn more about his services or with myQuest to learn more about our LMS. So I'll share that now, but I will also share it in the follow-up email, so don't worry if you miss it in this chat.
One more thing I want to say, we're doing this session, so we're probably going to do the next session in 2 or 3 weeks. Like, stay tuned to the emails from Billy. Like, every 2 to 3 weeks, we're doing like a webinar with a leading instructional designer, really like to support the community, take instructional designer to the next level. As I mentioned before, like 2 weeks ago, we did like a very interesting webinar on the 10 most common pitfalls that you can have when building training. So if you want to have access to it, you can also write here on the chat. We'll be happy to send you the recording. And also stay tuned to some emails from Billy about the next sessions. I hope this session was really useful to everyone. Jez, I really wanted to thank you for sharing this information with everyone. I think it's like amazing the work that you and your colleagues did, and I think with AI we really need to take the best out of it and see how we can upgrade ourselves using AI. So thank you for this. Jez, anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
No, I think only if you need my help, okay, in any way, just feel free to schedule a meeting with me, with Calendly, okay, that Billy will send you. It will be great to help you.
Yeah, everything is on the chat. So thank you, everyone. We'll send you more information via email, and stay tuned for our next webinar. And I wish you all a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, Idan and Jez. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.